Hello everyone, welcome back to another session of AWS Mastery course. So in the previous session, we have understood about the auto scaling, or we can say EC2 auto scaling. Also, we have understood about the EC2 auto scaling groups as well. So now in this session, we are going to learn about the EC2 load balancers, or we can say load balancing. Okay, so we are going to learn about this thing in a practical manner, or we can say in a very detailed manner. So basically we are going to understand, like, when we'll be having lots of traffic, like how load balancers are going to balance this traffic in a very practical manner. Okay, so we are going to learn all these things in this particular session. So in this session we are learning about the load balancing, or we can say we are learning about the elastic load balancers. So when we talk about these LBs, or we can say load balancer, like these are one of the most important concept in our cloud computing, or I can say in our AWS. So as the name suggests, it is something by which we can balance the load, means we can balance the web traffic. Okay, so let's suppose we are having one website. In that website, like, we are having 4 different servers, we are having lots of users. So with the help of this load balancer, we can balance traffic on our website. So that I'm going to show you, I can say, by just drawing the diagram so that you guys can actually understand properly. So but as a whole, you can see, like, it is something by which we can actually balance the load on our servers. Okay, and we are having key benefits. So we can actually improve the availability and reliability, because we are balancing the load, so the latency will be very low and the availability will be very high. And we are having scalability. Obviously we can balancing the load, and when we are balancing the load, means we, like, every server is working properly, so scalability will be very much high. And fault tolerance. So the thing is, like, we are having, like, if we are using load balancer, we can have multiple servers as well for a single website. So when we are having multiple server for a single website, so what we can say, like, if there is any issue with any particular server, then this load balancer is going to shift, or I can say send the traffic to the another server. So in that scenario, we can understand, like, the fault tolerance will be very high. So now the next thing is, like, types of elastic load balancer. So generally we are having 4 types of elastic load balancer. First one is application load balancer. The second one is network load balancer. Then we are having gateway load balancer and the classic load balancer. Earlier we were having only classic load balancer, but these days, like, they generally write this classic load balancer as previous generation load balancer. Okay, and we are having application load balancer, and this actually work very fine when we talk about the specific applications as well. And when we talk about the network load balancer, so it actually works on network side. So if we talk about the network layers, so application load balancer actually works on application layer, means we can say layer 7th, and the network load balancer works on transport layer. Okay, don't get confused, like, this network load balancer works on network layer, it actually works on transport layer. Okay, so just like that, we are having gateway and the classic load balancer. So let me just show you, I can say, by just drawing something, so that you guys can actually understand, like, what exactly the purpose of elastic load balancer and what we can do with these elastic load balancers. So as you can see on your screen, so the thing is, like, I'm going to choose something like this. Okay, and now let's suppose I'm having my system over here. Okay, so this is my system, and here I'm having few, what I can say, server. So this is my server 1, and this is my server 2, and this is my server 3. Okay, and here, as you can see, like, I'm connecting this thing, like, first of all, like, I'm just trying to open one website, and the website which is I'm trying to open is www dot let's suppose google.com. Okay, what I'm using www.google.com. But if we are not using, I can say, elastic load balancer, it is directly connecting with any one of the server which we are choosing. Okay, or it is actually regardless of the traffic or anything, like, it is actually just choosing one server, and the traffic is going on that particular server. But the thing is, we are just placing one load balancer. Okay, what we are doing, we are just placing one load balancer. So this is my load balancer which I'm placing, and as you can see, I'm just writing LB. So now from this particular moment, we will connecting with this load balancer. Okay, so here we are having internet, so this is the internet facing side. So here we are having the internet, I'm just writing it just like this. Here we are having internet. Okay, and we can say this is the internet facing side. Okay, because we are connecting with the particular website. Okay, we are connecting with the website with the what we can say with the internet. Okay, and now the traffic is going on these, I can say, server. So let's suppose I'm having 30% of the traffic over here, 70% of the traffic over here, and 80% of the traffic over here. So if I'm using the load balancer, okay, what I'm doing, if I'm using the load balancer, so automatically it will send it will send the traffic on this particular machine, because this machine is having the low traffic, okay, as compared to this machine, this server and this server. So this is actually the work of load balancer. And this particular part, from this movement, we can understand this thing is known as, I can say, front end part. Okay, and this particular part, like from here, like this part is known as the backend part. Okay, and what we are doing, we are just connecting our servers with the, I can say, load balancer, so that we can distribute the traffic, or the traffic which we are having on a server, we are just distributing in a very efficient manner, so that everything should be smooth, tolerance should be very low, high availability will be very high, and latency will be very much low. So this is how we can understand the concept of load balancer. So now I'm going to show you practically like how you can actually use the load balancer and how you can create the load balancer. Let me just show you practically. So as you can see guys, like I'm in my AWS console. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to search for load balancers. Okay, so as you can see, we are getting load balancers EC2 feature. So let's just open this. Okay, so here we are having the concept, like it is saying elastic load balancing, scale your load balancer capacity automatically in response to changes in incoming traffic. So whenever we'll be having any change or any what I can say, a quick shift in the traffic which is coming, so we can actually use the load balancer. So now let's just click on create load balancer. Okay, so as I told you, like we are having generally 4 types of load balancer. First one is load balancer, which is application load balancer, then the network load balancer, gateway load balancers, and the previous generation, which is classic load balancer. So these are the load balancer which we are having. Okay, so here HTTP and HTTPS is allowed in application. In network load balancer, we are having TCP, UDP, TLS. Then we are having gateway load balancer. It's a very different thing. And then we are having the classic load balancer. So these are the 4 load balancer which we are having. I have already told you what these load balancers all about. So now let's just start with the classic load balancer. Okay, so what I'm doing, we are just creating a classic load balancer, and it's a previous generation load balancer. And as you can read from here, the classic load balancer distributes incoming application traffic across multiple EC2 instance, targets in multiple availability zone. So from here we can understand like our instance can be in a multiple availability zone. So no matter we are having 3 EC2 instances or 4 or 5 attached with our load balancer, we can have these instances in different availability zones. Okay, so now let's just name this load balancer. I'm just saying my LB, I'm just saying my LB1, and then we are just using internet facing or internal. I have already told you about this. And apart from that, we are having VPC, and the VPC which we are having is by default. VPC is basically virtual private cloud, and in the upcoming session we are going to learn about this VPC as well. And then we are having mappings. So we are having availability zone, like from which zone you want to get the traffic. So if you are having multiple, you can choose multiple, it totally depends on you. So I'm just choosing like 2 availability zone, not more than that. And apart from that, we are having the security group, and again it is by default. Then we are having listener. So whatever it is going on our load balancer, means whatever the traffic will be having and everything, So we'll be having the listener port will be 80 like HTTP. Okay, we are listening to that particular traffic. Okay, so now we are having health check, and again like it's just I'm just leaving this everything like as it is. Okay, and here you can add the instances. So as you can see, like my new machine AMI, like these machines are working perfectly fine. So you can choose, like I'm just adding two machine with this load balancer. Okay, or you can like choose like multiple machines as I told you. Okay, so as you can see, like this diagram which I have showed you, like we can have multiple EC2 instance connected with our load balancer. Okay, so as of now we are just learning how we can create the service, how we can use this particular service. Okay, and when we'll be doing the I can say project work, so we will be launching our website, we'll be hosting our website, and we'll be understanding, we'll be checking like how the traffic is going on, and how we are receiving the traffic, and how load balances actually balances the load traffic among the different servers. So now next like rest everything I'm going to leave as default, and as you can see we are having this summary. So what I have done, I have created a load balancer, and with this load balancer I have attached two EC2 instances which I have already created in the previous sessions. And now let's just click on create load balancer. So as you can see, we are having this load balancer, and if you see the detail of this load balancer, as you can see we are having listeners. Okay, we are having the, let me show you, we are having the listeners, we are having the network mapping, we are having security, we are having lots of things, and even also we are having the monitoring. So in the upcoming session we are also going to understand about the monitoring, like how we can monitor our AWS services by using a service which is known as CloudWatch. So we'll be doing in the upcoming sessions as well. So this is how we can monitor as well. So my load balance is working perfectly fine, and this is the information which we are having related to our load balancer, and this is the DNS name. Okay, and like this is the DNS name, what we can say, like our load balancer is working perfectly fine on the internet, and we can actually use this particular icons instance. And as you can see, status 0 of 2 instances in service. Like as of now we are not using any instance, we have just attached the instances, but there is no traffic which we are actually, we can use our instance though in this particular load balancer. So as you can see we have created the internet facing. So I hope you guys have understood like how we are actually understanding, and how we are actually creating a load balancer, and what exactly the purpose of load balancer. So whenever there will be the data and or the traffic, load balancer is going to balance the load between these two instances which we have choose. So I hope you guys have understood this. Okay, so in the upcoming session we'll be doing, I can say, in-depth practical related to these load balancers. So I hope you guys have understood about the EC2 load balancers, like what are load balancers, how we can use the load balancer, and how we can balance the traffic which we are getting on our different servers. So that's it for now. Let's meet in the next session. Till then, just take care of yourself. Thank you so much.